A lot of people think that they have a money problem or a resource problem, but no, they just have a creativity problem. Now on social media, everybody's an influencer, everybody's a coach. 95% of people are full of crap, bro. You know, before you give money to anybody, you should vet them.
But it was a perfect storm because I didn't plan it that way. It was God. So I had 25 investors. And they're all great investors, and they all wanted to cash out.
Influence people so they could experience the freedom I experienced. So they'll stop chasing money through real estate, teaching them how to do real estate so they can focus on their families and serving God.
So how do you manage to create some of these relationships? Because these are people that everybody sees on social media. Everybody knows about them.
Ed Milet, Andy Frisella, Brad Lee, right? Those are, at least to me, those were important relationships to develop. The way that I did it was I led with value. I didn't ask for anything.
Hey, guys. Real quick, un honor tenerlos aquí.
Same way.
Thank you so much for making time, Chris, for
come on, dude.
For taking time away from the family, the businesses. Ivan, bro.
It's our pleasure, brother. It's a blessing to be here. I always love to meet like-minded people, brother.
Ahorita estoy mirando lo que está haciendo con empresarios. We'll touch on it in a little bit. Awesome, pero ya le puso un enfoque así de que, hey, raza, this is for you guys. This is for my people. And when I saw that, dije, oh, I know two cats that I want Carlos to. Well, first it was Chris, but then now Ivan was like a cherry on top, bro. Wow. También súper chingón, and we'll hear your story in a little bit.
Gracias, Andy.
Pero es un honor ser el connector aquí.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah. So
thank you. You asked me a question earlier, right? So what's this? See, look at this is at 7:26. Yeah. Morning, brother. Good morning, my brother. What is happening? Can I call you in 10? Spiritual, right? So that's like that's my spiritual mentor that I have. You know what I mean? So I have what you call my board of advisors. Yeah. Now, whenever I'm facing if it's a spiritual challenge, got my spiritual mentor. If it's a business challenge, right, I got other resources for that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If it's a personal development, so in 2019, that year, right, my business partner Sal thought I was crazy, and he can even see this and tell you that I spent over $160,000 that year on personal development, business development,
yourself,
nutrition, right? I had a full-time nutritionist that year.
Wow. Come on, bro.
Yeah, it was
full-time?
Full-time, yeah. Full-time nutritionist that was making me fresh meals all year long, you know what I mean? So it's like I spent the most amount of money on myself in 2019, and that year when I invested all that money into myself, right, into my development, I just started to really grow that year, so it was worth every penny for sure.
Oh, I love that.
So yeah, I have people. I have my board of advisors that I go to, and I think everybody out there should have what you would call your board of advisors, right? Yes. You got to pick 3 to 5 people whenever you're facing a challenge, whenever you need to lean on another human being, right? If you're not sending it up, and you got to lean on somebody and make sure that you have people that you can lean on, that you can trust, that are always going to give you unbiased, neutral advice. You know,
unbiased.
Like faith, family, finances, fitness.
The five F's. Right?
Fun.
Yeah.
How you been working out, Carlos? That's
good. Oh, thank you, brother.
Mamadolores, como decimos.
Thank you, man.
You're sizing them up.
Good.
No,
good.
Mirando ahí como good. I mean, it's this. He's disciplined. No.
Thank you, brother. I've been, you know,
thank you for
watch this. check this out, right? Yeah. I have a guy, a really good friend of mine now. I've been dealing. He is the family practitioner, right? Okay. So he went to school, you know, and got every certification and license that you can think of in the medical space. And he launched his own clinic this year. He launched his own clinic. And I don't know if you've seen me post it, Revive, right? Revive. So watch this, bro. He takes care of me and my family at zero charge.
Wow.
Like my baby girl, my 6-year-old had a ear infection, right? And I just call him up, put him on 3 with my wife. Boom, he dials in a prescription. We got a prescription in 30 minutes without having to go to the ER, and you know what I mean?
That.
So that right there is available for me at no charge, just because I'm always sending business his way, right? And I love it porque es un Mexicano, you know, Ryan Arvizu, and he just launched his own, you know, his own, it's called alternative medicine, where you got IVs, you got peptides, you know, you got glutathione, NAD, right? You got all the works.
Yes.
And he gives me my peptides at zero charge. And that's about $2,500 every 12 weeks that he gives it to me at no charge, because I'm constantly just sending business his way.
Is that an IV or is that like pills you take every day?
No, the peptides are injections. They're like little small insulin needles.
10 units, right? You do 10 units?
I don't know what he prepares them all for me.
Do 10 units.
Oh, I see.
¿Tú también?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You do it every 12 weeks?
No, so you do it for 12 weeks.
Oh,
yeah.
And peptides are like amino acids. You know, it's not like steroids.
Yeah,
it's just amino acids.
Is it before
bro.
you go to bed? You used to take them before you go to bed, right?
So I take a majority of them before I go to bed, and then I take one before I work out.
Órale.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful thing, bro. Wow. You guys know a guy named Brad, right? Brad Lee from Vegas. Yeah, I was showing him this morning, bro. I sent them.
That's what Brian Trainer's doing too.
Yeah.
In Coronado. Uh-huh.
¿Con quién, bro?
Brian Trainer in Coronado. He has similar the alternative medicine.
This morning. That was another guy, Brad Lee, finishing up a call. I need your advice. We'll call in 10, right? He's on my board of advisors. Brad is a guy that I can call. So I called my spiritual mentor for the spiritual side, then I called him for the business side. Wow. So I don't make a move unless it's strategic. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So anyway, after we got off the call, I'm seeing when I spoke to Brad this morning. Brad Lee. Yeah, me llamó a las 8:10 y luego le llamé para atrás a las 8:17 and we were on the phone for 25 minutes.
Wow.
And that was like, I got my answer of what I needed to do.
Sweet.
You know what I mean?
No me acuerdo quién preguntó, pero alguien dijo, so how do you manage to create some of these relationships? Because these are people that everybody sees on social media.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about them.
But I wanted to show you the peptides. Mira, le mandé. Mira, ahí están.
There you go.
Mira, ahí están todos los peptides.
Yeah.
Se los mandé al Brad.
Nice.
So I was just kind of explaining what each peptide was and stuff like that. So that was cool. But, bro, honestly, bro, a lot of people, that's a good question. Yeah. I'll tell you, some of the relationships that I've developed over the past, like 7-8 years, Ed Milet, Andy Frisella, Brad Lee, right? Those are, at least to me, those were important relationships to develop. And the way that I did it was I led with value. I didn't ask for anything. Here, I'll give you an example how the relationship with Ed started, right? Yes. Ed Milet. And, when I say a relationship, bro, I'm not talking about like Instagram DMs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? I'm talking about Ed Milet.
You're saying like adding like business value, knowledge value? Like what
Yeah, look at this. Like December 27th, Ed Milet, right? Ed, you came up in my morning prayers. Just want to remind you I love you. December 27th. You know what I mean?
He's awesome.
Boom, right? So how do I develop these relationships? First of all, most amazing relationships are developed over time.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Right? And they're developed over time, and they're developed out of like, you got to be a selfless person instead of the kind of, most human beings out there are like, man, like, what do I want from this guy?
What can I benefit?
Yeah, exactly, right? And instead, you got to be the type of person that wants something for someone instead of from someone, right? Yeah. So with Ed, watch this. So Ed, I was already speaking on a lot of different stages that he was speaking on. So I would sometimes speak before him or after him, right? Yes. And then I remember, we hit it off pretty good. I was speaking in La Jolla at King Clothier's event. It was called Boardroom, a Boardroom something, right? Yeah. Boardroom or something, right? Boardroom Mastermind. And I was speaking right before Jesse Itzler, and then Jesse was speaking right before Ed. So I went, and then Jesse, and then Ed, right? And then I got off, Jesse went up, and then me and Ed just started talking, we started hitting it off, right? I got his phone number, etc. And then the time of, what was it? He had a new book called The Power of One More.
Okay.
Right? And he had this new book, and I was like, I already had a connection with him, and I wanted to support him. Hey, bro, I want to support you with your new book. See, that's a way to serve.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a community. I want to support you with your new book. And then I go, hey, what can we do? Can you speak to my audience? This was around 21, I think. Yeah. Right. Can you speak to my audience? Actually, it was 2022. Can you speak to my audience? He goes, yeah, bro. I go, bro, if you speak to my audience, I said, I'll buy 1,000 books, right? And then he goes, okay, let's do it, right? And then I go, you know what? Can you fly in if I help you with like 3,000 books? It was 2,500 and 500. It was later when I went to North Carolina for his big launch, right? Yeah. But I'm like, I go, can you fly in for 2,500 books, right? And he was like, let's do it, right? So again, I was supporting his book, right? Yes. And then adding value, and then when he was at my event, he goes, hey man, I want to invite you to a very private book launch, and it's a private dinner, and Dean Graziosi will be there, and Jim Quick will be there, and all these, everybody was going to be there, right? Yeah. So he invited me. I went out there with my wife, and we were there, and then the book launch is happening in North Carolina. And then it's funny because I'm like, I was just so grateful for everything that was going on. I said, hey brother, I said, hey man, I want to support you with another 500 bucks.
Wow.
Right? And he was like, you're unbelievable, bro. You're unbelievable. He goes, when can you come over to my house? Right? Wow. So then he, then I went over to his house in Palm Springs.
Okay.
And then it was just, it was just like that, just being there to serve, bro. Just like this. Like, hey bro, let me connect. Yeah, let me serve, right? I don't expect nothing. Let me just, let me serve, let me connect, Wow. That's it, bro. Just be a person that provides value everywhere he goes,
Amazing. And you've been involved in real estate and some which you perform, Carlos, since 2005.
So watch this. I used to work for a mortgage broker called Key Advisors Financial Group right out of high school.
Okay. Wow.
And this is right before the crash, right before 08. Okay. Right. So I'm a LO, right? I'm a loan officer, right? I'm not a certified one. At that time there was not until like the Frank Dodd Act and all that, right? Right. So it was, so sure thing, I'm doing mortgages. And bro, the first time I ever refinanced the mortgage, it was like a $350,000 house here in Arizona. And I remember walking into my desk, right, as a little 18, 19-year-old dude. Yeah. I see a fat check for like $9,300. And I'm like, damn, bro, I've never seen this much money. Wow. You know what I mean? Yeah. Wow. And I was like, yes. So I was like, man, real estate. Real estate, right? Yeah.
There's something right about it.
And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to Westford College. I'm gonna get my real estate license and blah blah blah. And then boom, the market crashes in 08. And then nobody wants to do real estate, right?
Yes, everybody's out.
Nobody wants to do real estate. I'm like, damn, what am I gonna do now, right? Yeah. So then I stop, and then in 2012 I start to kind of dig in a little bit, what wholesaling was, read a $10 book, etc. Yeah. And then my business partner and myself had already become best friends. And then he was like, bro, let's launch a business together. Let's launch a car wash, a coffee, coffee company or whatever, right? Yeah. And then I go, bro,
08, 08.
This is 2012.
Oh, 2012 already.
And then I go, why don't we do real estate? And he goes, well, what do you know about real estate? And I was like, honestly, bro, I don't know anything. Give me some time, and then I'll figure it out. Because we're very nosotros como Mexicanos, we're very resourceful.
Yes,
right. ¿Cómo se llega a Roma? Preguntando, right? Start asking. You know what I mean? Yeah. So then I start going in, bro. I start reading every real estate book I can think of, like bothering the hell out of people on Instagram. I had like 1,000 followers, and I'm just like, can I meet with you? Can I meet with you? Can I meet with you? I don't know if you remember this, Rafa, but there used to be these really big time flippers here, the Delgadillo brothers. Alex and Jesse Delgadillo, bro, they were my inspiration, bro. Shout out to the Delgadillo brothers. Wow. Like, they were, bro. I remember watching these two guys park their black big body Benzes in front of their renovation project and just like taking a picture of it. And I'm just like, I'm like, that's what I want to do. Imagine, I'm looking at two Mexicans, right? Flip houses and park their whatever, the S550 or whatever, the big dog Benzes, right? Yeah. And they're parking the big boy Benzes, bro. Oh, yeah. I'm like, that's my dream. I want to do that.
I want that.
Right. And then guess what? Fast forward from that time, 2012, 2013, we start going, right? 2014, we start flipping now, not just wholesaling. And then in 2018, bro, I start taking pictures just like those guys did with the Rolls Royce all blacked out in front of my Wraith, in front of my flip, my renovations. So I made my dream come true. You know what I mean? So like, what I imagined here, right? I was able to manifest it about 5 years later.
Wow. So how did wholesaling come into it? After the fix and flipping, or?
Well, bro, I mean, when you don't have any money, that's what I'm saying, right? So when you don't have any money, when you don't have any credit, when you don't have what else? A license, right? Yes. Wholesale is like the best way to enter real estate. You know what I mean? So my bandit signs, I remember, I was reading this book. It was $10 book. It's called Flip, F-L-I-P, by Nick Ruiz out of Wisconsin, right? Wow. He used to go by Alpha Home Flipping. That was his name back in the day when he had a social media brand. And I read this book, and then it's like, you can become a real estate millionaire with no money, no credit, no license. I was like, yes, right? Yeah. So I'm getting through the chapters. I'm just, bro, I'm obsessed. Yeah. Right? As you know how it is, bro. When when you buy into something, bro, there's nothing.
You're all in.
Yeah,
All in.
I'm all in, right?
That's right.
That's right. So I'm in there, and then boom, it's like, okay, the first thing you got to do is go put out 100 bandit signs every single weekend.
Wow.
And then I didn't even have money for bandit signs, so my wife used to write the bandit signs for me. I used to buy these like blank bandit signs, cardboard, and they were about 75 cents a pop, right?
Yes.
And then I would buy like the wooden stakes for them.
Yes.
And then my brother-in-law would bring home from Nabisco a bunch of markers, black markers.
Okay.
And then my wife would just every Wednesday.
Well, that's
and then on
beautiful.
Friday night, you know, yeah, I got pictures of like my wife and my 12-year-old who at that time was 2013. Yeah, she was just like a little baby, you know, like 2-3 years old, right? So I got pictures of them on the table putting together the bandit signs. They would put about 100, 120, max 150 on Wednesday. And then Friday night from 11 p.m. to Saturday around 2 or 3, I would put out all those bandit signs. And the reason why I would do it on Friday at 11 p.m. because the city of Phoenix workers would not get rid of them until like Wednesday or Thursday. So my signs would be up all weekend and then a few days in the week. Yeah.
Entonces armaba con esos 3 días.
That's how I got my first real estate deal.
Esas historias me gustan un chingo, bro, de cuando uno está empezando, porque estoy seguro que hay mucha gente que nos mira y han de pensar que las batallas que a veces son las que tienen enfrente son los únicos que tienen que lidiar con esas cosas o sobresalir de esas etapas.
Bro,
like we all have our crazy stories.
Lo que dijo su esposa, bro, that to me touched my heart. Like your wife just putting the work in with you, believing in your vision, bro.
Thank you, brother. Honestly, she's my, my day one, right?
Yes.
She's my day one.
Partner,
So, she's my soulmate, man.
Yeah.
Ustedes, guys, any crazy stories así cuando empezaron?
Pues, Chris, ellos tienen...
You know what? We all have stories,
Todos
man,
tenemos
but when it comes to real estate, I started as a developer, and back in I was 21 years old. I'm 42 right now, and I started managing this big company called Point and Gosnell Builders International, and they started in Phoenix. At the time, they were the biggest employer in the state of Arizona. You know, the 4th biggest developer in the country. Within 6 months working there, I become director of operations for the whole company worldwide, bro. 21 years old, experienced well, didn't fear God. I come from a pastor's family, but didn't fear God. And I get really hurt by finances. I got paid super good. I started investing in real estate when I was 21 years old, buying properties, developing properties, and 2008 was a big low for me because I got hit by a curveball of life. Father gets battered. I show up. I end up defending my father. Long story short, I get thrown in jail for 3 months. In those 3 months, I met God. Well, and that was so good because I got to really look at my life and say, I want to stop doing this, get out. And when I got out, I remember like I'm having all this success in developing, buying real estate. I have my buddy from Miami saying, Chris, I want you to come to Miami and buy they used to get REO properties, bundles, or like 150 homes, like 200 homes. Come to Miami. I'm like, no, I love San Diego. So then one day God gives me a dream. I converted to God. And in this dream, God shows me how I could go buy property without any money by going to big companies like Pacifica, one of the biggest owners of real estate in San Diego, and saying, hey, give me a blank check with 2 signatures needed, but that's enough for me to go out and put offers in your behalf. And if you don't buy them, give me the first right of refusal, and I get to sell them to other people. But I'll probably buy them myself with partnerships. So then I woke up. That was a dream I had. I woke up, wrote it down, called a buddy of mine who was a real estate guy because I didn't know much about wholesaling, and didn't exist back then. So between him and I opened up this company, we become the biggest wholesaler in the West Coast. There was one other company in the East Coast called Fortune Builders.
Yeah, I heard of them.
You know,
Fortune Builders, yeah.
Jeff Rutwoski and Paul.
Than Merrill? Than Merrill.
Than Paul.
Yeah. Than Merrill,
his brother.
Yeah, they were huge.
So they were huge. They just closed about a year and a half ago. So we started the same year. They started on the East Coast. We started on the West Coast. But they started teaching it and selling it like $30,000, $60,000 packages.
Yeah, I remember.
And we started just buying property, holding it, wholesaling whatever we wanted, cherry picking it. And that was my story. Hold property, buy property, hold it, buy property, hold property. But then I got to a place where I feel like, I had all this whys growing up in a low-income family. I'm going to have an estate home, have the right cars, have the watch, have my family, my wife, and the vacations, the best restaurants. Had it. So fulfilled all my whys and fell into depression being a Christian. Like, what's next? Go to the office for what? I have everything I want. My house, my estate is paid off. The cars are paid off. Like, I have all this property. It's like, for what? So I started losing sense. But then I had an encounter with God where he showed me my purpose in life. How how to use what he put in my hands to go out and take territory, to influence people so they could experience the freedom I experienced. So they'll stop chasing money through real estate, teaching them how to do real estate so they can focus on their families and serving God.
Yeah.
So then I jump off my bed, open up TCA, a real estate education company, teaching people how to buy and hold, fix and flip, wholesale, develop, redevelop, and, coming back to life like 3.5 years ago,
What a blessing, man.
And that's where we're at now.
Yeah.
That's my story in a nutshell, because I want to learn about you, bro.
Oh, what a blessing, man.
Well,
That's us, man. But we're developers in San Diego. If you ever need anything, we have connections here for developing in Phoenix, especially Phoenix. Anything with developing, dude, I'm a construction expert. Whatever you need, we're here to help you.
Are you guys doing any Section 8 development in there?
Yeah, we are. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you know San Diego a little bit. We have properties in North Park, South Park, Normal Heights, or we're taking high density properties, or we're removing the garages, converting them into ADUs, or demoing the garages and going vertical with ADUs. And we're doing a lot of that. I have 3 projects right now that I'm doing in-house, and we do it for clients as well.
There you go.
So yeah, is that popping in Phoenix?
ADUs are, but Section 8, it's not as popular here as it is in California. I got a lot of friends in the LA county area that are doing it right now as we speak. Like a lot.
So we have my asset manager, Steve. Steve is phenomenal. What he does, strategically, he looks for tenants. So our portfolio, we have about 135 homes. We properties we deleveraged, about 7-8 years ago. Sold property, and we're like very very low, loan to value right now. We're we have good equities. But what he does, he's phenomenal. He goes out and does his open houses and creates this bidding war. Even in San Diego, California, where you can't do this, but he knows how to do it legally, where people just bid themselves out. So you rent a home that normally rents for $3,000 for like $4,200. He does it systematically with every single one of our properties, Section 8. But he interviews the people, and he wants to bring people who are hardworking Latinos, like the blue collar shirt people.
We pay our rent.
yes.
Yeah, we pay our rent.
Yes.
Mexicans, we pay our rent.
Yes.
It's a priority for us.
With the beautiful-
Not no disrespect to
No,
all the other races,
it's
right? But we pay our rent, right?
Yes.
But we leverage your portfolio 50% Section 8 to answer your question. But then that 50% of people in our portfolio is we look for people that only pay like $60 a month, $120 a month, hardworking people. So if they ever miss their payment, Steve sends a letter to the HOA department, to the Section 8 department, to them, and they immediately pay. So they're never going to miss payment.
Yep.
The government pays $2,800 out of $3,000 rent. It makes no sense for them to miss it. So I love Section 8. The other 25% we do military people and veterans. Veterans give you double the deposit. Is it the same here?
No, I don't. For Section 8?
Yeah.
I don't do Section 8.
Oh, you don't do Section 8?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm
I
interested in
recommend
doing Section 8 in California.
Okay.
Because so what I'm really good at is I'm really good at finding off-market discounted properties, right?
Yeah.
I'm good at finding lots. Like I just picked up 85,000 square feet, which is about what 2
acres.
2 acres, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
In what is it called? Not Sun City. It's
Queen Creek.
It's around Queen Creek.
Yeah.
I just picked up that for $15,000, and there's a lot of development happening.
$15,000.
$15,000 for 85,000 square feet out there. Wow. And there's a lot of this happened last week, Thursday, and there's a lot of development happening out there, right? So that's what I'm really good at. I'm really good at finding off-market deals, whether it's lots, infill lots, whether it's single-family, residents. Like that's what I'm really good at.
And do you like to buy and hold, or you're?
I like arbitrage. I like flipping. I like wholesaling. I like novating. You know what I mean? I like all the rentals that we had in 2021. We sold them. Every rental we had here in Vegas, we sold it. You know what I mean?
Good,
we're believe it or not, I know we come off as real estate guys. But we're
entrepreneurs.
We're entrepreneurs.
Yeah, awesome. I can see that.
I like
empresarios,
exactly. Ask me anything about roofing, right? Ask me anything about pool companies or flooring, right?
Yeah, like you're a businessman.
Yeah, like the people that I'm helping, the people that I'm coaching right now. I think, I got a few real estate guys, but bro, I'm coaching a roofer that will do over $10 million in Dallas, Texas, Summit Roofing. I'm coaching a flooring guy, Edgar Segovia, here in Arizona. He'll do about $3 million. I think we're shooting for 5 now. Initially it was 3. I'm helping a demolition company named his name is Sergio AZTAZ, right? So I do a lot of that, man. Like I love being an architect of business. Bro.
Is that what empresarios is?
Well, empresarios just means, entrepreneurs or business people.
Yeah.
But that's like 90% of our prospects or our members, right, or even avatar, right?
Yeah.
This is what it is, bro. It's niched down to the right. It's first generation Mexican Americans in the blue collar space that are taking over the family business. That's 90% of these.
Niched down.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh my God, it is the most niche thing I've ever done. You know what I mean? Wow.
So you're a coach right now. That's more what you do mostly.
Well, I run my own companies, right?
Okay.
I run my own
As
companies.
CEO.
Well, I don't even consider myself a CEO anymore. I just consider myself like a co-founder. Yeah, co-founder, right? Okay. So we've gone out of that, over the past couple of years. But I run my own companies, right? And then I help other people
Strategize, no?
not only strategize, but like I just love building, bro. I love the building process. I love putting the pieces to the puzzle. If I were to go into, his credit company, right? I'll go in there and I'll look at everything from a holistic standpoint.
Yes.
I'll look at financials, I'll look at staff, I'll look at
departments.
organization chart, right? Roles, responsibilities, departments, right? I'll look at everything, right? And then I'll put it all. It's like a doctor, when you go to a doctor and he's like, oh, what's wrong with you? Oh, it hurts here. Okay, well, let's get some blood analysis, right? Yeah. Let's get an ultrasound, et cetera. That's what I do.
Check your marketing, check your operations, human resources.
I do it all, bro. That's what turns me on. That's my passion, bro. That's my. I just love business scaling, bro. It's my favorite thing.
Wow, you're a visionary.
Wow. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Carlos.
We didn't forget about you, bro.
Beautiful, bro.
Ibas a tocar tu hora.
No, pues ya no sé ni qué decir, bro.
No, pues que this is your backyard. I'm really glad you guys got to meet porque pues this is. En cada esquina he's like, oh, this property, I did.
Ya mejor me callé, le decía a decir que I'm talking out of my rear.
What are you doing right now? Are you
Good
flipping?
question.
Are you flipping? Are you wholesaling?
That's a good question. Quick question, Carlos. So I was born and raised. Well, I was born in San Diego. The minute I was born, nos movimos a Tijuana because my dad he never had the best job. Good, he was a present dad, but my mom was a social worker. She couldn't afford to stay in San Isidro, so we moved to. She took maternity leave, and we moved to Tijuana. I was a baby. I was newborn. We lived
Tijuana's
in Tijuana.
tough, bro.
Yeah, 15
Tijuana's
years.
rough, bro.
15 años, and I would cross the border every day. When we started kindergarten, we crossed the border every day, every day across the border. Y estaba pues ahí dormidos en el carro. And I grew up in between different colonias, La Postal, La Libertad, Lomas.
Did you have the express?
No existía. Back then, no existía. Teníamos que ser, back then, we would do the line. We'd be on the line for
4 hours?
minutes. Yes.
45? That's not bad, bro.
45 minutes.
Now it's like 4.
Ahorita es brutal, bro.
Yeah. So then when I was 15, I moved back.
He has a Sentry now.
Global.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we moved back to the U.S. and when I was 15 in 1994, and I went to, I always went to school in San Diego. Grade school, junior high school, junior college. I was there for like 6 years, changing my major. I was an academic. I was just a C average student labeled. But, I ended up getting my degree. Finally, the first one to get a bachelor's degree in my family.
Nice.
And then
Congrats,
I got
bro.
a degree.
That makes
Thank
one
you.
of us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That makes one of us, right?
My counselor just told me, get a degree on anything, dude, whatever. And I was like, well, I saw my transcript. Well, which one is easier? I think you can.
Sports medicine?
Yeah.
That's what I did. Mine was kinesiology.
Kinesiology.
That was mine, yeah.
I wanted to do that, but she goes, I mean, you got all these credits in sociology. Get
The
sociology.
anatomy classes, cállate, bro.
Órale.
They try to make a doctor out of you.
It's hard.
Yeah.
That was easy, I'm sure.
Yeah, so I got my degree finally in sociology. I got a teaching job at Castle Park High School. I taught special ed for about, for about good 5 years. And then in 2005, in 2005, my brother opened up a mortgage company, a real estate company in San Diego, just a little small operation. And I started I got my real estate license, and I was selling like everybody, not because I was brilliant, just because the loans back then, Fannie Mae, stated loans, all these teaser loans were available. So, I was killing it, but not because I was brilliant or a savvy real estate investor, just because the opportunity was there. So 2007 comes, market crashes, first quarter of 2007. Back then I'm 28. Market crashes, my pipeline dries up. I was averaging 25 deals. For me, it was a lot. For some people, it's nothing. But for me, it was a lot because I was doing
25 deals a month?
25 deals a month.
That's great,
For
bro.
back then, for a 27-year-old making over 150,000.
People are happy doing 5 to 10 a month right now,
¿Cuánto te estabas aventando?
I was making like 100 to 150,000 a month at 27. So
Crushing.
And I had no
No expenses.
mentorship. I don't know how to steward my money. But yeah, what happened is I bought a lot of rental, a lot of $1 million homes, like 1.2, 1.1. And I was buying those properties from the builders and then flipping them for like 100,000, 200,000 after I closed. So I got caught up with all the 10 properties and other properties that I had in 08. So I had to foreclose. They foreclosed, and then I had to file bankruptcy.
You got caught with your pants down, huh?
Typical. I don't know if you guys went through that. I went through that. So 2008, I'm like saying, I'm gonna go back to teaching. It was a good ride. I'm grateful for the experience. I'm gonna start from scratch. I mean, I'm bankrupt, so I decided to come here to visit a friend. My friend Elias Perez. Shout out to him. He's from San Isidro. He moved to Phoenix because he couldn't get a job back then. So in January 2009, I came to visit him just for the weekend, just to check, just to spend some time with him before I go back to teaching, because we actually met at the same high school. So when I was here visiting him, I saw a lot of boarded up fourplexes, all in Central Phoenix. From, I'm talking about from 53rd Street all the way to Central, from Van Buren, Thomas, Camelback, Maryland, Glendale. I started seeing all these boarded up properties. And back then, I remember I went to my first one, and I called the real estate agent, and it was for sale. And I called Terry Cass, and he goes, hey, I'm seeing if this property is for sale. What's the price? What's the listing price? He goes, we're asking, I think it's $25,000. And it was a house in the front, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, brick built, good bones. And then the back structure was a triplex. They were all 2-1s. And the note has foreclosed like at $400,000, and it was selling for $25,000. And it needed about $5,000 to repair it, just to make it just habitable. So, but back then I had no money. I was broke. I only had like $1,500 in my pocket. I was broke. I was here for the weekend. And he said, well, if you want to buy, you got to pay cash because the bank will not finance it. You have cash. And I don't have cash, but I said, yeah, sure. And he came down and he goes, I have more of these. And nobody wants to buy because everybody's buying on the core steps. Are you buying on the core steps? I'm like, no. I didn't know what that meant. Mm-hmm. So that was when you were there. Yeah. And then I bought that first deal with him. Well, before I bought it, he gave me, he says, I'm going to write the contract, but come back to, call me back tomorrow. We'll write the contract. I need to see proof of funds. So I made some calls to San Diego. I called a few friends, a few uncles. And one of my uncles was the one that said, I got $150,000. What are you proposing? And they said, well, I'm proposing a 50-50 partnership. We'll buy these properties. It probably costs us like $40,000 all in. We'll set up an LLC. We'll go 50-50. You have to come in for 5 years. And 5 years, we'll sell them. And then you'll get your capital, and then we'll split the equity 50-50. In the meantime, we'll split the rental 50-50. So that led to buying my first property in February 2009. I still remember the property, 3546 West Maricopa Street.
Tiene una memoria, bro. We've been teasing him all day. What shirt were you wearing when you closed, bro?
That I don't remember.
No te creas.
If I start, but it was 3546 West Maricopa Street, Phoenix, Arizona, 85009.
How many properties you bought in that year, bro?
In that year, the first year I bought, I think it was like 7 the first year. And
I thought it was much more.
And it was about 7 that year. 2010, it was like 30. 2011, it was close to 30. I ended up buying about 67 or 70 properties in those 3 years, from 2009.
To hold? To keep?
To buy and hold.
Nice.
But what happened is in 2012, the market had appreciated. From 2009 to 2012, the market had appreciated at least a good...
Oh, yeah.
That property that I bought in Maricopa for 25 was going for like 80,000. Okay,
well,
200%.
But it was a perfect storm because I didn't plan it that way. It was God. So I had 25 investors, and they're all great investors, and they all wanted to cash out. So I'm like, so what I did is I couldn't buy them on. I couldn't get conventional loans. I couldn't leverage them to buy them out. So what I did is, okay, you guys get your own appraiser. I already know what the properties cost, and I'll buy you out, or we'll sell them. So I cherry picked 25 properties out of those 67. And we deposed all of them, and I kept, everybody was happy, everybody got their money, and I kept the ones that I had the highest and best use to develop, which I still have. Mm-hmm. And that's how I started everything in Phoenix. And then in 2015, I moved back to San Diego. That's my hometown, but I still have my boots on the ground.
You live there now?
I live there now, okay. Yes. But Phoenix will always be my second home, and I'm looking forward to buy a home, maybe in Arcadia. I want to buy some house and make it look nice in Arcadia. So my kids, I'm hoping that some of my kids, I have 3 kids. I have a 5-year-old, 7-year-old, and an 11-year-old. Hopefully one of them or 2 of them will be driven to manage the portfolio, because we want to continue to build our portfolio now. And that's why we're here to just check it out, get acclimated with Phoenix, how's going on. But Phoenix is like our home.
Well, let me know what you're looking for.
Yes.
On buy and holds, because I mean, bro, I'm making offers every day, right? I'm making offers every day. It's funny you mentioned what properties we're going for back in the day, because a property that I bought last week, I bought it in Glendale.
Yes.
Right, 30th Avenue in Glendale. I bought it for $290, and he bought it in 2009 for $32,000.
Yep.
So I paid $290.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he bought it in 2009 for
30 grand.
32 grand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nuts.
Yeah.
And they're going out for what on that break? They're going for 350,
it's
380.
no,
for
actually,
400.
the after repair value on
Yeah.
that property is about 415.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great margin.
So no, I always pick up
Great
deeply
margin, bro.
discounted deals,
Do you
dude.
pick up multifamily?
You know, I don't, because I don't target my marketing towards multifamily. I actually purposely filter that out.
Okay.
You know, all I got to do is click a box, and then I'll be able to direct message.
To get your leads that you get.
Yeah.
Leads
So
per
I
click or
get,
whatever.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I everything I get is single family. You know what I mean?
You said not leads per click. You said leads per.
Oh, it leads to contract conversion. My
okay.
conversion ratio. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, like for so like some of the marketing channels, right? Like it takes me 35 cold call leads to get a deal.
Yes.
Right. It takes me, and that's about $27 cost per lead. Wow. Right. So it's pretty good.
Yes.
It takes me, like I said, 18 inbound pay-per lead leads
Okay.
to get a deal. And that's on PPL, which is pay-per lead. PPC, which is pay-per-click, aka Google AdWords, right? For that one, I'm about 12 to 1, which is really good.
Okay.
Great.
Right. Facebook, I think I'm about 16 to 1, you know. So I check on my metrics every week. I know where everything is. You know, I'm even though my business partner Sal is like the integrator, I'm the guy that I just like your memory, right? I got the memory of an
Your
elephant when it
spreadsheets
comes
and
to
Monitor.
KPIs. Yeah. I just have to know where everything is.
Scorecard.
Yep. All day.
unpack?
Yep. All day, every day. Like I won't make a move without it.
If you could turn on, you know, I've been knows the market here really good. Like the areas that we want to buy in.
Are you looking for multifamily or single family?
I mean, both single family. I would say not like a single family.
Especially it's a little high right now. You know, it's a little high to buy rentals.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
right?
Multifamily will be great.
Do you guys remember when the funds were buying pretty heavy? 2021 to 2023.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were picking up any property that the rent equated to 1% of the value.
1% rule. Yeah. That's very simple.
That's
Can
right.
Can we get deals like that still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you still can. I mean, I looked at 8 deals today, man, that were just, I'm telling you, the net profit was $63K after 6 months worth of hard money
Being serviced.
accounted for.
Yeah. So they definitely cash flow if you were to rent it.
Yeah, so I'm like, dude, I hope out of those 8 offers that my project manager is about to make,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? I'm like, I hope I get 3 or 4, you know?
Yeah.
That'll be great.
So I mean, bro. Here's the game that we're playing now, right? It's the game of leverage.
Yeah.
I don't have to use my own money anymore, you know.
Yeah.
To buy deals. Like the best money leverage, like money leveraging private money that I ever had. Yeah, was these were the terms, right? From 2018 to 2023.
Yes.
Right. It was 100% funding, right? 12% APR,
Okay. That's good.
no points,
Okay.
0 doc fees,
Okay.
right? And what's this? 100% rehab. So they would overfund escrow by the amount that it was going to take me to rehab the property.
Yes.
And I wouldn't have to pay until the property sold. So it's a balloon payment.
Beautiful.
Wow.
So I don't even have to make monthly. That's leverage. I mean, think about it. I'm taking 100% of your money.
Yeah.
And then I'm flipping houses.
No, I get you.
And I don't have to pay you until I sell it. So that is leverage to the T, right?
And you have that.
I used to have it.
Okay.
Now I got to leverage a lot of different. So that guy pulled out. Like not from us. He retired.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. So now I'm looking like now I have a few private money people, but I'm also leveraging, like I said, like the first flip program for, other business owners that are like, sometimes I do what's called gap funding. You know what gap funding is?
Of course. Yeah.
Right. So sometimes.
Maybe can I pause you for a little bit?
Yeah.
But you're really bad. That's really good, bro. Because I never met someone in my career that has gotten a deal so good like the one you just said. I thought I had the best deal. So I had a bank who did 100% finance, 100% construction. But I had monthly payments. You deferred it to the close of escrow. That's pretty freaking awesome, man.
Balloon payment, man.
And that was based on relationship, based on your resume.
Yeah. So that was a hard money guy that turned into a private money guy. And right now I'm looking like right now like today I hit up. My network is a pretty good network. So all I got to do is send a couple of voice messages or make a couple of phone calls, and I just tell them, hey, how would you like to earn 12% on your money this year, And then I got a bunch of these high net worth individuals, and they're like, yeah, what does that take? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the way that you do it is you don't start them by having them fund the entire deal. You have them by having them fund the down payment, right? And then the monthly payments, right? And then you get the construction from the lender, right? So they'll come in and they'll fund 15 to 20 or 15 to 25%, right? That's what they fund. And that's how you get them started. And then eventually they're like, dude, how much do you need?
Like, I got you.
You got to build the trust.
Yeah. When I was here, I was using, once I built a relationship.
Talking a lot of real estate.
I love it. Sí, ahorita.
I became friends.
Fíjate cuánto tiempo tenemos, bro. I respect you.
I know. I get caught up, bro.
Fíjate.
Let's do another you want to do another 10?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
Y ahorita we'll shift a little bit from real estate because I know you guys couldn't.
When I was here, I was using Jack Hilton. I don't know if he's. That sounds like Jack Hilton, Greg Sir.
Oh, person.
Metro Phoenix Bank, the founder of Metro Phoenix Bank, Michael Stevenson. I was always goes to those three private money. There's a gang of them. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. But I think when I got here in 2009, Phoenix was much fertile territory for leveraging and to maneuver and be very agile with real estate, moving real estate versus California. It's just a purchase powers. Yeah.
Here's like some of the big plays right now that we're focusing on besides real estate. Like we're allowing that machine to continue, right?
Yeah.
We're focused on what we've been focused on since 2022 is what's called M&A, mergers and acquisitions. If you think about empresarios and if you think about the type of business owners that are coming in, right? What are they? They're all trades. They're in the trades, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying. It's almost like the Hormozy thing that he's doing. It's
that's
like
right.
Think of from 2X to 4X.
Yeah, so that's why if you think about it, right? Like it all makes sense. It's like God put it all together for us because most of these companies, like 90% of these companies are their gross revenues between like 1 and 5 million. Right. And then we come in and we help them structure and stabilize and scale. And then in the near future, like a guy like Brandon Dawson from 10X, he doesn't have access to this community because he's not Mexican. No. So he has to come and tap me on the shoulder and say, hey, do you have any companies that I can acquire, absorb, or you can bundle up and I will acquire them? You know what I mean? Bro. So that's kind of like the big game that we're playing now, which is M&A. Yeah.
Amazing.
That's pretty bad.
That's why I love blue. I love. So I say this. I have a white collar mind with a blue collar grind.
Wow, like that.
It's like I think white collar, but I work like I'm a Mexican, so I work like a blue collar guy.
You know, you mentioned they needed to tap you to go into the Hispanic market. When I was here, I was buying in the barrio. I was buying in the hood, fourplexes. A lot of these guys, hedge funds, that were buying. They were like, how are you doing this? But then I was revamping a lot of the South Phoenix on Fillmore. Actually, Michael Carbajal is one of my neighbors on one of my properties. I own 3 properties in Garfield. And I got the attention of a lot of people in the city at City Hall on the second floor. They will give me like almost something permits over the counter. I got to build a relationship with all of them. What was his name? Frank Danso was one of the guys at the city that helped me get through just properties that will buy that were red tagged. That was able to remove stuff. But I forgot what I was going to say. I attracted back then it was 2014, and I was hit up by a production company based out of California, Solana Beach. Forgot the gentleman's name, but they want to do a reality show on how to flip fourplexes in the barrio because it was catchy. They came and did a pilot. They spent like 3 days with me. I used to live on 44th and Monroe. They spent about 3 days with me, and they were shooting me on my ordinary day. I went to a few of our properties, a few of our projects, but my girlfriend back then was just pregnant, and I decided to not pursue it. Plus, I was really busy. I had traction.
Hubiera estado
buying.
chingón eso, bro.
I should have done it, but I said one day we'll come revisit this. But it was cool because I will go in the bar. You can hear the
Like the brothers,
rooster in
like
the
the
back.
brothers you mentioned, they probably doing that.
You know all that stuff. And
You know what I'd be curious about, bro? Ahorita que estás ayudando a mucho de nuestra raza, what do you see as like a common barrier, whether it's mindset, skill set, for our people?
Personal development.
You're also teaching your people, so I'd love to hear what you guys are
watch
seeing.
this. There's a school out of California that just reached out to me that has multiple locations throughout the state.
Yes.
And they're a certification school in the trades. So he reached out to me, and I have a Zoom call. I actually invited him to come to the next Empresarios event in April, where he's just going to come as a VIP guest, so he can see what we're teaching.
Yeah.
Right. And then he wants to start referring all the. I mean, bro, this guy he does thousands of certifications every year, right? Yes. He wants to start referring all the contractors, right, that are coming in to get the certification.
Yes.
Because they always ask him, hey, where can I get more education? Right, I got my certification. Where can I go and get more education?
Yeah.
So he wants to start sending people our way so that we can start helping them, scale.
Affiliate.
Yeah, oh, for sure. There'll be definitely an affiliate for them, for sure. But imagine this, right? With this particular thing, right? If I take a landscaping company that's doing, $3 million, and I bring it up to $6 or $7 million, right? And then I help them scale it and stabilize it, and it's delegated. The guy can now, if he ever wants to, exit internally, which is remove himself, right? Or if he's ready, he can exit externally, right? And then I bring a buyer to the table, and then we're able to get him 6 or 8 times what people call EBITDA, which is earnest before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization, right? Because just because you make 7 doesn't mean that's what your company's EBITDA is, right? Yeah. But let's just say it's 3.5 or 4. And imagine he gets 6 or 8 multiple of that. That's 4. A big exit. You know what I mean? Boom, cash. Yeah. And then I bring it in, I broker it, I helped him stabilize it, scale it. And then now it's like this guy's winning, that guy's winning, and everybody's winning. You know what I mean? I'm winning in the middle somewhere, Wow. So I think that's going to be fun, man.
Es lo que está haciendo Hermosi, creo que te dije la última vez.
Yeah.
Que éramos 200.
He does it with gyms.
Yeah.
He used to do it with gyms.
Sí, ahorita ya es a whole bunch of different businesses.
Oh, wow.
So there's 200 of us, all from different industries.
Did you go to the boot camp?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, so él trae a todos sus head of ops, head of marketing, head of finance, head of HR. Y todos dependiendo on what your lid is, whatever your bottleneck, ahí están ayudándonos a estructurarlo.
This is at the boot camp?
Yeah. Wow. Pero a la vez they're getting all the details about your business.
Yeah, they want to see who they want to make some offers to.
What business they feel they would be able to help scale. But by offering a partnership there.
So what's the equity they're trying to take?
40 on average. 40%.
Now, are they trying to buy equity, or are they trying to what's called CFE, consult for equity?
It's
CFE?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Is that what you do? No?
You know what? It's funny. I've done it. I've done it with the solar company, right? Done it with the solar company. We ended up with 66.6% of that solar company.
Okay.
I've done it in other ventures. You know what I mean?
You should have made 67, bro.
Huh? 67. But I think we're gonna start offering that. And normally in a CFE deal like that, fair wise it's 10 to 20%, but 40's a little wild, you know what I mean? But if he can get it, you know what I mean?
Well, I know you're going to have to go pretty soon, so quick question. So if you had to start all over again, what would you do different?
Damn.
Is any opportunities for improvement for Carlos?
I wouldn't do it. A lot of people would say, oh, man, I would do exactly the same way, right? I wouldn't do it the same way, knowing what I know now, you know?
What would have been the catalyst to get you faster where you're at now?
Creativity.
Be more creative.
Creativity, right? Okay. So a lot of people think that they have a money problem, right, or a resource problem, but no, they just have a creativity problem. Mindset. Like you, right? Yeah. Look at you found your uncle.
Yes, Uncle Frank.
Shout out to Uncle Frank.
Exactly.
Respiratory therapist.
It took creativity. It took creativity to connect those dots, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And that's what I feel would get people there a lot quicker, man. Just ask,
Yes.
Ask, man. Go find the deal. Go find someone with a little bit of money that's a professional, a white collar professional that's making a couple $100,000.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to make money on their money, bro.
Yes.
Right. Even if you have money in the bank right now, people are like, "Oh, I'm earning 1%." I'm like, "No, you're not, because inflation is 5 to 6, so you're losing 4 to 5 every single month." You know what I mean? So it's like they don't like having your money in the bank. Se está pudriendo.
Yes. Yeah.
You got to put it out, and then you got to go put it to work, or else inflation is eating it every single month.
The deals that you coming back to real estate super quick. The deals that you guys get to fix and flip with your team are those, what percentage is off market and then on the market?
All of them are off market.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So we're heavy on direct to homeowner marketing.
Yeah.
Cold calling, pay-per lead, pay-per-click, Facebook, direct mail. You know what I mean? We do it all. Wow. So that's how we get our. I don't like buying deals from wholesalers, but I will if I have to.
Yeah.
Right. Especially right now, because I can only get so many deals through my own marketing. Yeah. And I have a huge list of people that want to flip houses through our flip program.
Yeah.
So it's like I can only get so many deals a week from my own marketing, and then I got to find good deals somewhere else.
Got it. So you already have a line of people waiting to take property.
Oh yeah.
So what can we do to do something together? Like maybe open up a new niche in your marketing, maybe 4plexes, 3plexes, maybe a little bit of high density.
Yeah, I'm not an expert, so I'm like the things that I am an expert in, I'm an expert in, right? And but things like multifamily, like I'm not an expert in that.
I am.
Development, I'm not an expert in that.
You can send your performance, teach your team,
Yep.
Zoom, whatever, and it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's not difficult. If you know how to analyze by comparables, multifamily just by net operating income, cap rate in the area,
Yep.
cap rate you do compare it to other properties, very simple.
Yeah.
That's the strength development and also multifamily.
There you go.
One of the strengths.
We definitely got to just stay in touch for sure.
You mentioned Ken Clothier earlier. Is he still doing seminars? Ken Clothier.
I think he, I haven't kept up with him. It's been about a year or two, but I know for a fact he has like one of the best masterminds in the country. Right? It's called the Boardroom. He has one of the best masterminds.
Está en San Diego, ¿no?
Yeah, he's in San Diego. Yeah.
I met him once over the phone. I don't know him.
Yeah.
But it was in 2013. They wanted me to teach a class. It was back in the day. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't living here, but they had a class of real estate investing institute called Nouveau Reach. And then the founder in 2013 reached out to me and asked me, would you be interested in teaching multifamily? And he invited me on a call with Ken Clothier, and they were working together. But once again, my daughter had just been born, and I decided to just stick to my family. But anyways, not that it's important, but around you brought up Ken Clothier. I wonder what was he doing?
Yeah, he's a good friend. He's been in the business for a long time. One of my really good friends is his COO. His name is Eddie Rosefield, and he runs the whole mastermind for him. And they have a really, really powerful mastermind. There's some really good masterminds out there, man. And just because like I'm a coach or a consultant, like I will always tell you, like, man, that's a good mastermind. That one, not so much, but that one's great. Like there's another one called, I think it's Collective Genius or something. CG, right? Collective Genius. That's a real estate mastermind that's pretty good.
So ahorita que hay mucha raza como que con esa curiosidad de seguir aprendiendo, what are the red flags? What to look for?
When it comes to coaching?
When it comes to coaching or even going to events where they might be sold wolf tickets.
Here's the here's the problem with social media, right? Like I started on Instagram January of 2013, right? When people were just posting food pictures and they were calling it food porn. You know what I mean, right? That's when I started. Even I was posting the food pictures. I'm sure if I go back 12 years, But now on social media, everybody's an influencer, everybody's a coach, everybody's an online personality of some kind, and 95% of people are full of crap, bro. So I would say, before you give money to anybody, you should vet them. Vet them. Especially if you're going to give 10,000, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand. Vet them. And how do you vet them, right? Well, look at their track record. Right? Look at their testimonials. How credible are they? Go to their office. Go to their office. Spend some time there. Bro, I got people that come to my office. They'll pay me $30,000 to $50,000 to coach them for like 3 months. I got a guy in my office right now named Ty Udy from Utah. You know, he paid me $30,000, and you know, he came out of a guy named Pace Morby's program, and now he's doing my strategy, right? And he's already like crushing. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like, go to the office and see what's really going on there. You know, is this guy practicing what he preaches? You know, that's like, you vet them before you give any money, because right now, man, you just don't know who's who.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's so good. That's so good.
Yeah.
That's some good stuff right there. Then.
Yo creo ya hay que dejar ir a Carlitos.
Yeah,
bro.
for sure, bro.
Hermano, muchas gracias por tu tiempo, bro. Thank you so much, bro.